Welcome to the Angel Empowerment Healing Show with your hosts, Cindy Smith and Sam Bell. Join them every week as they share powerful tools, advice, and angel messages that will empower you to own your wellness.
Welcome to the Angel Empowerment Healing Show with myself, Cindy Smith.
And with me, Sam Bell. And we left off our last episode with our guest, Amy Grigg. And Cindy, I think you got a message from Archangel Raphael. He wanted us to talk about cancer.
He did. And, I've asked, since we did our last recording and he mentioned it's time to bring up cancer, I wasn't particularly sure where Archangel Raphael wanted to go with this. And then from that time and to a time of working with a friend of mine and colleague and angel empowerment healer, I was in person doing a session with her, and then it became very clear as to why he wanted to talk about it. So we are going to have her as a guest speaker with us in the future. But here's what happened for me. I was in person doing the language with cancer because our friend has been diagnosed with cancer, and her biggest thing is she's been experiencing pain recently. And as I was flowing and doing the language that I was guided to do, Sammy would be quite happy too that Raphael kept going on that I had to really focus on the nervous system language.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, as I was doing it, this is what Raphael, I heard him say, "Be careful, my child, what you are projecting." And I instantly knew what was happening. So I haven't seen my friend for a while in person, and there's no matter who we are human, and most of us have experienced the loss of somebody we love due to cancer. And I have done a lot of work to release, to let go. Yet here I was being the conduit for Archangel Raphael and the healer, and he's telling me on an unconscious level, I am still projecting some fear around the fact that my friend is dealing and healing from cancer. And it was a big eye opener for me that on such a deep level, for somebody who's very aware of what we project, for Raphael to say, "Be careful, my child, what you're projecting." And so I said it out loud after to my friend. He called me on it. And this is a teachable moment for our practitioners and for anybody in the healing world. Sam, as being a cancer, when we're diagnosed with an illness that can be deemed terminal or there's no recovery from it, it brings up that fear. And cancer, because of what we've witnessed, whether we've ever had it ourselves or what we've witnessed with the loved one, it brings up that unconscious fear. And as my friend said, there's so many layers to it that it's really bringing up the healing, not only for her as a client, but the healing for us as healers, and to remove those projections. So because I never really give you a heads up of what happened when I had my session, because our listeners know this is ad lib. So what comes up for you, Sam, when Raphael said to me, "Be careful what you are projecting, my child"? What came up for you?
For me, as soon as you said that, it's that reminder, as healers, that the collective has fear of the word of cancer. It used to be called the C word, it was that thing that you didn't really talk about. And if you said to somebody that they had cancer, they just straight away see that that's it. It's a death sentence, and yet medical science, the Western medicine, and now they are embracing complementary medicines as well. And I love that you've been doing the nervous system healing there. And it cancer is treatment is one of the areas of Western medicine that truly embraces complementary therapies, be it Reiki, be it angel empowerment healing, and the positive thought factor. It's a huge part of angel empowerment healing. But our cancer treatment centers provide courses, psychology courses, so that their patients and their families are positive. And of course, the opposite of being positive is negative. And when you're negative, you're going into fear. So it's all about that fear language. And as I say, society doesn't really help us. And it really is time to change the narrative around cancer and being well, and being positive. Make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. And it's very interesting, and so for our listeners, please know that this can be a difficult topic. I totally understand
Mm,
that. But also, it's the more that we are aware of what we project outside of ourselves. And it was a huge lesson for me. So, what I mean by project outside of ourselves is we both Sam and I believe, and we believe in the power of thought. And of course, that is what our program is based on, is the power of thought and also receiving healing with Archangel Raphael. But we are human and we have the three minds and our computer that we have stored memories, we have stored experiences, we have stored the loss and the grief. And on some levels, we still may project it outside of ourselves, even if we're unaware of we're doing it. We call that the deep-rooted unconscious things, memories that have been stored. And so when we're projecting the cancer word as a negative word, it is going to affect, even if it's just minor, but
mm,
affect our clients, our loved ones, the people that we love that are healing with it. It affects on a little bit of that quantum physics, right, Sam, that you
mhm,
talk about the entanglement. And it just came to my memory too that Raphael reminded me is that when I was doing the session, was reminding my friend that it was all about I am healing, I am healing, I am
yeah,
healed. It was owning the healing part of it
mhm,
versus the fear that goes with it. Now, for anybody who's experienced pain, we know that it can be difficult
oh,
when you're going through pain um, to be in that positive energy. So it's up to us as healers to, in whatever degree we are helping people, it is up to us to stay in that positive energy because of the entanglement. So
mhm,
I know we keep talking about the quantum entanglement, Sam, but it really goes to the deep level. If Raphael says, "Be careful, my child, what you're projecting," then
mhm.
I had to go deep to figure out what was I doing.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And so anybody who's interested in entanglement and the quantum physics, basically there was an experiment that was done many, many years ago. This is a very quick and dirty, brief explanation, but they realized that whatever action you did on one atom, simultaneously, instantly, it would have an effect on another atom. So this was something that made Cindy and I realize that, wow, this is why distance healing works, right? So if you're setting the intention for an action, which could be a thought of being positive, that can instantaneously affect an atom elsewhere. And when you look at the healer and the client, and you look at that therapeutic relationship, we're all made up of atoms, right? I'm made up of atoms. Cindy's made up of atoms. We're here doing this recording on Zoom together, and we're communicating instantaneously, not just because we're speaking, but because our atoms are connecting. So there's the feeling around things. If I'm feeling anxious about talking about this subject, Cindy would be able to pick up on that because my atoms are entangled with Cindy's atoms. So that's why we talk about atoms and entanglement and the therapeutic relationship. So kudos to Raphael for calling you out on there. But you know, that's a lesson for us all to be aware of. And when you're talking about pain, I often say, you know, that pain, once you start focusing on pain, you make it worse. You know, if you can distract yourself and do something different so you're not focusing that intention on the pain will become less. And we all experience that. And one of the things that I often say to clients when I'm explaining about angel empowerment healing, I say, can you manifest bad health? And oh, we'll all say, yep, we can make up bad health. We can create the symptoms. And then I say, well, what if we could do the opposite? If we can do it one way, we can do it the other way. So that focusing on that positive thought, we can manifest, you know, to be pain-free. And that is how angel empowerment healing works, right, Cindy?
Yes.
Reprogramming that unconscious
Reprogramming.
mind.
And for the fact, my friend, she gave me some feedback also that she said, I picked up your energy was uncomfortable but I didn't say anything. So if she could pick up that my energy was
Mhm.
uncomfortable and here I am the conduit only, I'm flowing through me. But if there was some energy in my aura that I was uncomfortable, working with my friend, then all of that energy has got to go bye-byes because I need to be the clearest conduit and form that I can. And me moving forward, then I know that there's clearing for me on a level to be comfortable. It's because of so for listeners, what it is it's because of my own experience. I lost my father to cancer and a dear friend a year and a half ago to
Uh-huh.
cancer. And so it's in my conscious mind has used the filter system and has created this little bit of angst within me that I thought I had dealt with. But for the fact that Raphael was calling me on it and my friend was picking up on it when I wasn't picking up on it, then that is telling myself that there's still energy to be done to clear me. And I'm going to Hawaii on Saturday. So I will be doing some extra clearing when I'm there with Goddess Pele and Raphael.
Hmm.
The thing is, we could talk about it. Sam and I we could have a session. We could talk about the angst and the bit of fear that might have come up for me. But for me, I know the biggest way to deal with it is clear it and get Archangel Raphael and Archangel Raziel to remove that unconscious stuff that I've stored, to get it out of my system, to be able to be the clear conduit again that I really would like to be for my friend. And
Hmm.
when we have that invested emotional, we know that we can do it. Like Sam, you can talk about being connected to someone very dear and the emotional connection with cancer, but we can do it. We can step back, we can be that pure conduit healer that we know we can, and be that ability to flow through us for Raphael and for our client, no matter how much we care for them.
Hmm.
And it's something innate that we can do to be able to step away from it. But I'm grateful that Raphael said that I still had something that was affecting me. And and the fact that my friend had the was give me the courage to say, Cindy, your energy was off a little bit. I could feel it. And lessons. It's all about lessons. The reason I even brought it up is, I'm a talk therapist, and I could have spent a few therapy sessions talking about my angst around cancer that come up, but I work with the angels, and I know with that quantum physics and the energy within the unconscious mind and my physical body, I want it cleared. And so that's why I have the angel empowerment clearing techniques that we use for ourselves and for our clients. But I'll let you talk a little bit if you're okay with talking about when we are really connected to our clients, we still can do healing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one of the things that we teach our practitioners is that they maintain their own energy, that they have their own energy remains intact. And anybody who's doing healing work, 9 times out of 10, they are an empath. So we are trained at a deep cellular level to pick up on other people's feelings. And but if we walk around and we take on everybody else's feelings, we're going to end up, one, not knowing what our own feelings are, but we take on that energy. We're like sponges. And so we become consumed. So I said to you, Cindy, that, I used to keep my nursing and my angel work very separate. It was like I put on a different hat each day. But now I actually use both of them together. And I use my angel techniques to keep my energy intact and to protect me from other energies and from feeling. Doesn't mean that I don't care anymore. Of course I do. But I realize that I can't take on everybody else's illness and their feelings, because it's going to detriment myself. And then I'm not going to be able to be a good healer. And that's exactly what Raphael was telling you, Cindy, and how important it is that we are, our energy is intact, right? So does that what you were
Yes.
wanting me to
Yeah. And it's,
say?
well,
Or
I think
ad-libbing.
it's our own awareness. And whether
Mhm,
you're a healer, or it's a loved one that you really care about and has been diagnosed with cancer, it's that conscious awareness of where we go with it. And
mhm,
that is really what Raphael wanted me to talk about, is what are you projecting? What are you thinking? What has happened for you in the past? Or maybe you're one of the lucky ones that hasn't really had to deal with anybody in your immediate world that has been diagnosed with cancer ever in the past. But if you have a frame of reference. And that frame of reference is what can get in the way, possibly. So please no thinking that everybody is going to be like me. But the main thing is Raphael is wanting us to really focus on our awareness of when there are those diagnoses with the physical health or the emotional health that you feel you're unable to come back from. That is where we as individuals pay attention to our awareness around it. How do we respond individually? And then when it comes to being a healer, you definitely want your stuff out of the way. And,
mhm,
it it's I guess the main thing Raphael wanted was to be awareness of what is the power of thought when it comes to certain illnesses. We will respond differently to certain illness diagnosis than others. And it's because of the frame of reference. What is in our belief system, our belief patterns. So I
mhm.
am grateful for Raphael being strong and with me to get my attention and say during a session, what are you projecting?
Mm.
So that I could stop it right there and then.
And one of the things as you're speaking there, Cindy, is, we have got language for cancer. To support patients going through chemotherapy, radiotherapy, immunotherapy. But we also have some very powerful language there for patients who are in remission, who may have that fear that the cancer might come back, or for being a family member who has maybe lost somebody to cancer and is fearful of that cancer diagnosis. We have very powerful language around that, and it works because it does exactly as we're talking about. It's reframing that fear. It's not us saying, oh, don't be silly, and dismissing the feelings. Anybody's fear is very real and it can be very detrimental. But we respect that people would feel that, and it's understandable why people would feel that, but it can get in the way of healing. And we help and support individuals to clear that so that they can focus on the positive and the healing. But it's certainly not dismissing anybody's fears that might be out, anybody who might be listening to this. But the language that we have is very powerful, and it addresses exactly what we're talking about, Cindy.
Yes, it does. And for, watching my father go through cancer, we've talked about it on the show before, and anybody that knows me, when he was first diagnosed, Angel Empowerment Healing eradicated. There was no evidence of the cancer cells. But thanks to my dad, we now make sure we have a maintenance program, because that was the very beginning of developing this program. But I guess for close, to say this, we will bring my dear friend, and she said we could use her name, but Nola will be a guest speaker, because she also wants to talk to the fact of being a healer herself and having the complementary medicine alternative, whatever people want to refer to it, but you and I refer to it as complementary. But working with Western medicine and complementary medicine together. And so she'd like to share her journey on that also. So she will join us in the future. And, Sam and I would like to kind of close this discussion around, to all of our listeners, if you have anyone that is diagnosed with an illness that is really affecting them, we send Love and Light and Raphael for extra healing. Just by you listening, we are sending, because we're asking Raphael to do it for us. And if you have any questions about different types of language that all of our practitioners have access to, and who would be a good fit to work with, reach out to Sam and I.
Yeah.
Sam, how do they get a hold of us?
You can find us both at info@angelempowermenthealing.com. We monitor that inbox on a regular basis. So just shoot off that email and we will get back to you. For further information, just visit our website, www.angelempowermenthealing.com. and find out more about us. Absolutely. And from that webpage, you can actually listen to different podcast episodes. We've got quite a few out there now, and you can find us on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, on Apple, but also via our website.
And just to also close, Sam and I personally, we do offer one-on-one sessions for clients. And whether it's in person here, depending on in Calgary, or whether we do in virtual on Zoom or on the phone. And I'd just like to do a shout out. If you're listening to this, we recently taught a new Angel Empowerment Healing practitioner class. And we have several practitioners that are looking for case studies to become certified. If you're interested in working with one of our new practitioners, please reach out to us so that we can at least set you up to have a conversation with one of our new practitioners. Right, Sam? Same thing, same email.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Find us. So, as our regular listeners will know, Cindy and I These are always unscripted. And our show is guided by Archangel Raphael himself. And what we do at the end of an episode is we will pull a card for the next episode. And the card that I got is Self-Love First. So Cindy and I will be talking about self-love. And I think as the holiday season is upon us, this might be a really good topic for next week, Cindy. So until then, this is Sam Bell signing off.
And Cindy Smith, and
Tune in.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us on the Angel Empowerment Healing Show. Your hosts, Cindy Smith and Sam Bell, will be back next week with more tools, advice, and angel messages to empower you to own your wellness. Visit our podcast page at www.angelempowermenthealing.com/podcast, where you will receive 3 healing meditations recorded as a thank you for being one of our listeners.